Today on Texas Home Improvement.
We've got a leak up in the ceiling. This is what happens when you hire bootleg contractors. All right, we're out at a house that's having a little bit of a problem because they've got a leak up in the ceiling. Obviously, you don't want holes like that in your ceiling, so we got to figure out where it's coming from. This is a one-story house, so there's no plumbing on the second floor because there isn't a second floor. So more than likely, it's going to have something to do with either a vent or a drain system for an AC or something like that. So we'll start in the attic, see what's there, then we'll probably end up on the roof to see what's up there. But it all starts with this spot right here that's got to be fixed. All right, we came from down below. We're taking a look. You can see we've got the light coming through where the hole is, and sure enough, above it we got a vent stack. Now, somebody's worked on this vent stack because it's got a rubber boot, and when it was originally put in, this would have all been glued PVC. The other thing that's kind of bothering me is when I'm looking at this joint, I don't see any primer or glue. So I suspect we got an issue here. We're also going to have to go up on the roof and see if we got any issues up there. But I think we might have found our problem. Okay, we found in the attic that we got a pipe that's coming up through the roof here. And so there's only one or two places where the water can be coming from. It's either coming around the pipe where the flashing is here, and obviously somebody's already been up here and sealed this one up, or there's water going down through here and there's a leak in the pipe itself. You know what? It's got to be that pipe connection down there that's leaking. And my bet, it's not glued.
There comes a time in most homeowners' lives, if they have a wooden fence, that you look outside and you realize it's looking a little bit gray, it's looking kind of old, maybe feeling kind of dingy, and you might be thinking that you need to replace that old wooden fence. But before you do that, let me show you something. So right here, I have some wood that's even older than this fence right here. This came from a fence that was torn down and thrown away. The homeowner decided to completely scrap it and go with a new fence. They didn't think that there was any life left in this wood. But I'm going to show you today how you can actually bring new life to wood that's even this old, and maybe you don't have to replace that fence after all. The first step in the process is getting some of this gray out of the old wood. Now, how I'm going to do that is by using a bleach, water, and a little bit of dish soap mixture. Now, I recommend you start with a 3 parts water, 1 part bleach mixture, and then see how the wood reacts to it. This wood is pretty old, and so I'm using a bit of a stronger mixture than that, but that's a good place to start with, and then, like I said, you can always go stronger with the mixture once you see how the wood is reacting to it. So, I'm gonna get to it. I'm going to apply the mixture with this pump-up sprayer right here. Now, I wanted to make a quick note, and that is that if you are doing an entire fence, you're going all the way up to the top, if you're going to be spraying above your head, you're going to be spraying a lot of this mixture, make sure you have the proper safety gear. You need a face mask, glasses, gloves. You don't want the bleach getting on your clothes, on your skin. You don't want to be breathing it in. So make sure you have all of that. I'm doing a much smaller amount of wood here. I'm not going to be spraying above my head, so I'm not wearing the mask and the glasses. I am still wearing the gloves because I don't want to get this mixture onto my hands. But having said that, let's get to the wood. As you can see, the color difference in this wood is pretty dramatic, and if you have a fence that's a bit younger than this wood, the change should be even more dramatic. Now, the next step in this process is to take a hose, rinse off the wood, and then I'm going to flip it all over, do the same thing on the other side. As you can see, this wood already looks totally different than it did just a few minutes ago. Now, the next step in this process is to let the wood dry out completely. Now, this can take a couple of days, but since this is television, we're not gonna make you wait that long. All right, the wood is all dry. It has been a couple of days. Now it's really important to make sure that the wood really does get completely dry before this next step. As you can see, it even lightened up more than it had before. So I'm really excited about how this is gonna look. Now the next step in this process, right here, Ready Seal Stain and Sealer. The stain is going to make the wood back there look really, really good. I'm excited to see how that's gonna turn out. But the sealer, that's the really important thing. It's gonna greatly extend the life of the wood. So, let's get to it. When I started this project, I referenced this fence right here as an example of a fence that was getting kind of old. It's gray, and people might think that now they should consider replacing it. But it wasn't anywhere near as bad as the wood that I was going to try to revive. Let me show you what that old wood looks like now that it's all done. I had no idea how good this wood was going to look when I got started, but let me tell you, I am incredibly, incredibly impressed. So if you have a fence that's looking kind of like this and you're thinking maybe I should replace it, the first thing you need to think about doing is reviving it with Ready Seal.
It's the 40th anniversary of the Dallas Home and Garden Show, presented by Floor & Decor. Experience the most efficient way to shop for kitchens, baths, outdoor living, windows, and floors, with chances to win gift cards to IKEA Grand Prairie every 15 minutes all weekend long. Don't miss the charity plant sale, seminars, and the free Kids Zone. The 40th annual Dallas Home and Garden Show, presented by Floor & Decor, March 1st through 3rd at Dallas Market Hall. Tickets at TexasHomeandGarden.com.
Hi, I'm Mike Douglas, owner of Advent Air Conditioning. We've proudly been servicing the heating and cooling needs of Texans since 1981.
We believe the cheapest repair that you can get is the one that you only have to do once. That's why we send all of our service technicians through over 80 hours of manufacturer training every single year. So if you have an AC or heating repair need, or you're just looking to replace the whole system for your home, give us a call. We're the comfortable solution.
Real people steal people. They want real power, real options, and real value. Grab a lightweight battery-powered chainsaw or an easy-starting battery-powered blower. This season, get a real solution. Get a Stihl. Search STIHL or visit StihlDealers.com.
Folks hire guys like us, 'cause staining and sealing like a pro can be a real headache.
And they're right, unless they know our secret.
We have a secret?
Oh yeah.
Ready Seal Stain and Sealer for wood is the professional's product of choice. The one-of-a-kind formula means no laps, streaks, or back brushing required.
Hey, am I doing this right?
Doesn't matter, son. Stuff's goof-proof.
Ready Seal. Look for the goof-proof label and get it right on your first try. Got any other secrets?
Oh, we're just getting started.
For a long time, Stihl has been at the absolute pinnacle of gas-powered tools when it comes to quality and innovation. So naturally, with the emergence of battery-powered tools, you would expect to find Stihl at the top of that as well. And you do. For the last few months, I've been testing out several Homeowner Series battery-powered Stihl tools, and today I'm going to tell you about a few of them. The first tool I want to talk about is the RMA 460. This is the battery-powered lawnmower in the AK series family. What really stuck out to me about this mower is the power. It definitely didn't feel like it was battery-powered, and it cut really well. I think this mower is best suited for smaller yards, because the battery might need a second charge for larger lawns, but it's definitely something to check out. Battery life was not a concern with the FSA 56 trimmer. In fact, I really enjoyed using this tool. It's lightweight, powerful, and feels a lot smoother than most gas-powered trimmers that I've used. Some people might think that the cutting swath is a bit small, but I didn't have a problem with it when I used it. I would recommend this trimmer for homeowners over any gas-powered trimmer that I've used. While I've used a lot of trimmers, I haven't tried many hedge trimmers, so the HSA 56 was a bit of a revelation. Even with the built-in safety features to help prevent injury, I found it really easy to use, lightweight, and honestly, a lot of fun. I'm thinking about getting some more bushes at my house so I can use it more often. But my favorite AK series tool is definitely the BGA 56 blower. It's almost too easy to use. The power was surprising, and it makes cleaning up the yard feel like a summer stroll. Maybe the summer stroll part was a bit much, but the point is, I love this blower, and I think it's an absolute must for homeowners. I know that battery life is a concern for a lot of people. While I didn't have an issue with that, I also love the fact that all these tools use the same type of battery. So if you have multiple tools, you can simply switch to a new battery if one runs out, and keep right on going. There really has been a massive shift when it comes to homeowner tools with the emergence of all of these battery-powered tools. And you really need to check out the AK series from Stihl. So go to your local dealership, have them walk you through all the tool options out there and which ones might be right for you. You're going to get incredible quality, you're going to get incredible convenience, and when you work with a local Stihl dealership, you're going to get the knowledge to make sure that you're getting the right tool for the job.
All right, so we've been up on the roof. We saw we didn't have an issue up there that we need to address, but we know we have an issue down here, so let's get started. First thing we're going to do is loosen up the straps here, which, hey, they're not real tight to begin with. That's an issue. So we'll make sure to tighten those down a little tighter when we put this together. Next thing, you can see it's coming apart. Should not be able to take it apart. And we just dumped a little water down through our hole. Now we know where our water's coming from. This isn't glued at all. And worse than that, the pipe coming up isn't glued. We got a problem all the way around on this plumbing that we're going to have to address. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to primer everything and start gluing stuff together. A lot of people wonder, why do you put primer on a pipe? And there's two reasons. One, it's actually a cleaner, so it cleans off anything that's on it, but it also softens the PVC, so when you put the glue on, things bind together better. I would love to put some primer down in that joint down there, but obviously we can't reach down there, so we're going to just have to rely on the glue to do its thing. But since this is not under pressure, it should not be an issue, and God only knows how long this has been up here just stabbed together with no glue, so shouldn't be an issue. The other thing, when you glue PVC together, you don't just stab it in. Once you've got it in, you need to rotate it, and that kind of locks the glue in place. When you soften that PVC, it puts a little twist on it. None of this stuff has been glued. This is what happens when you hire bootleg contractors and you don't get permits and inspections and things like that. So when you're hiring a contractor, check them out. Make sure you're getting somebody who knows what the heck they're doing and they follow codes and glue things the way it's supposed to be done. Now you notice how that tried to slide apart? Sometimes if you don't have a load on it, you have to hold it just a little bit. By twisting it, you also minimize it trying to push itself apart. Tighten these bands back up, and we got this thing done. Shouldn't be any more leaks. Now, if I had my preference, I wouldn't have the rubber boot in here, but because the top is already sealed up, I don't want to break all those seals up there and redo it. So we'll just make sure we tighten up this bands here, and we should be good to go. Done.
It's time for my favorite part of the show, the extreme product test. Today, I'm testing out the F-Wave Revia synthetic shingle. Now, this product has a Class 4 hail rating, but more than that, it has a hail warranty, 5 years in fact. Well, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you what Class 4 hail does to a bunch of other objects that you'll find around a DFW household. And then I'm going to show you what that hail does to the Revia shingle. These are all of the things that we're going to launch the hail cannon at. But on top of that, we're going to launch it at a traditional asphalt shingle and a Revia shingle. I've got a feeling I know how this is going to turn out.
For tile, wood, and stone, come to the nationwide low price leader, Floor & Decor.
The prices are the lowest you will find.
Not only did we find lots of options, we were like, oh my gosh, it's so affordable.
It's affordable no matter what your budget.
I saved a lot of money at Floor & Decor.
We came in under budget.
Way under budget.
Way under budget, yeah.
It's really the best pricing.
You're getting an incredible product for an amazing price.
Why wouldn't you want to save money and make your house look great?
I love to save money. Who doesn't like to save money?
Floor & Decor. You have to see it to believe it.
You know, when listeners call the show, they're experiencing cracks in their walls or doors that are sticking, I'm proud to tell them to call the company that's been keeping Texans on a solid foundation since 1978, my company, Due West Foundation Repair. You won't get a salesperson trying to sell you repairs you just don't need, and most jobs come with a lifetime transferable warranty. So if you got cracks in your walls or doors that are sticking when you want the best, call Due West.
Winter doesn't last long in Texas. Some years, it can feel like it skips altogether. And while your yard might take the season off, at Plano Power Equipment, we don't have time to hibernate. That's because we know it's our job to make sure you're ready when spring does get here. So whether it's keeping that old tool running or upgrading to the newest steel equipment, when you need us most, at Plano Power Equipment, we'll be ready.
We didn't think we could build the home we wanted until we found You Build It. For years, I kept clippings and took notes of the home that we wanted to build. When we met Frank and learned about the You Build It system, we knew that we could turn those ideas into a reality. By following the You Build It system, we were able to save about 15% and still get the home that we really wanted.
We've helped hundreds of people build their dream home, and we'd love to help you.
I think so. Firing. 3, 2, 1.
If you get hail like that at your house, you're gonna know. And if you have a traditional asphalt shingle roof, you're gonna need to replace it. But if you have Revia, it's a different story. You might still need a new grill, but at least your house is okay. And that's the main point.
All right, so we went outside. We found what our issues were. We were up in the attic. We fixed the problem, but now we got to fix what happened because of the problem. And you can see this was bubbling because what happens, moisture gets in, the sheetrock starts to expand, but the paint actually becomes kind of a little barrier that holds the water, so it'll start sagging down. So the first thing we got to do is knock this down, and let's see actually what somebody else had already done up here before. All right, obviously that's a bigger hole than we're just gonna patch. So we are now to this point where we're gonna be putting in some sheetrock in order to fix this properly. Okay, now we're getting back to what the original hole was that somebody came in here and fixed at some point in time. And there was no call for that. Look at that. We got a ceiling joist right there. Beautiful place to go ahead and install a piece of sheetrock and do this repair right. Don't shortcut. When you shortcut on these things, you're gonna end up redoing them anyways. So here's what we're gonna do. Since we have a ceiling joist across here, we have a nail plate here. Here's where we actually did our repairs. I'm gonna go ahead and square this up where I can install a new piece of sheetrock. All right, so we got our hole cut. We went out in the garage and we cut a piece of sheetrock. Now before we stick it in here though, you can see we got some sheetrock mud up in here from when the original work was done. And I'm talking back when the house was built. And if you've ever noticed, the edge, the factory edge on sheetrock is tapered a little bit. The reason for that, you'll put it into corners like this, or if you're doing a wall, you have the two tapered edges. That's where you put your tape and mud in order to finish out the sheetrock the way it's supposed to be. I need to finish cleaning out that little mud up there though, so we can tuck this piece up into the wall. All right, we got our piece in. I put a little mark on each side of my ceiling joist so I can see where to put my screws in. And we're going to actually use screws instead of nails. And the main reason, I just don't want to be hammering up here and making a huge mess. And a lot of times screws will go in with a lot less effort than putting in nails. Now you want to sink those screws just a little bit. If I was hanging a big piece of sheetrock, you'd put two screws, 2 inches apart, the screws, and you do that every 8 inches. But since we're just putting a patch in, I don't need to put that many screws. We're not going to have that much weight pulling down on it. All right, now we're ready to sand our texture off around it, and after we've sanded it, we're ready to go ahead and tape and float this. It's going to take more than one coat of mud, but the first coat, you got to get that tape on there to seal these edges, take care of this corner, then you can go ahead and feather it out with your second and possibly even a third coat. After that, it's time to texture.
One of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to roofing is that a roof is a roof is a roof. They're all the same, and that also applies to attic ventilation. I feel like a lot of people don't even know what attic ventilation is. So to start with, Chris Arrington, what is attic ventilation?
Attic ventilation is actually, Tim, I look at it like the house breathing. It needs air to come into it, and it needs the hot air to go back out. I mean, that's the basic system.
So when it comes to the roof, basically you just need something that's going to let the air in, let the hot air get out. Is this kind of a one-size-fits-all? You just need something so that the air doesn't sit there? Or is there more to it?
You know, there's more to it. Something's better than nothing, but a lot of guys out there that are doing roofing sometimes will put up a system that actually goes backwards and it pulls air conditioning out of the house. So you've got to know how much air are we bringing in, how much air are we taking out. Let's keep it balanced and let's use the right products. And especially, you wouldn't want to put a system up on a house that fights against itself. Some guys do that, and so it takes some training to know what products to use.
So how do you guys approach it? Like, what is the approach that you take to make sure that that's not the case, that you have the right system on a house?
Yeah. Well, Tim, my background wasn't just, I grew up in the trade of roofing. I went to school and got a degree in architecture. And so I look at the roofing trade more through those eyes. How does the roof work with my attic system? How does it work with the insulation? How does it work with the walls? Aesthetic wise, how does it look with the exterior of the house? You know, all those things. I think that's what we bring our clients more than a guy who's good at putting a roof on, because we can do that too. We can give you all the advice and the guidance you need to put something on that takes you to another level. You know, let's do it better. You were talking earlier about how the roof is kind of that thing that you've got that you don't really think too much about, but try not having one.
It could create a massive
all your stuff's
problem.
going to get messed up, so yeah.
No, that makes sense. So a roof is a roof is a roof is completely false.
Yeah.
There's so much more that goes into it, and that includes attic ventilation. You need the right system, because if you don't have the right system, it could actually be causing a bigger problem than having nothing at all. But with the right system, your roof can actually work together with the rest of your home, holistic approach to it. That's why I work with this guy. And so if you want more information about Arrington Roofing, go to our website, thipro.com. You can get all their contact information, and let's make sure your roof is doing its job.
Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're messing with sheetrock mud is you want to keep it clean. If you start getting too much even dust into it, it'll build together and create a big problem for you. You notice I'm a little heavier here, a little lighter there. We can actually go back and add a little bit. And that is where we're going to leave this one. Hey, I'm loading up to head back out to Dallas Market Hall for the Dallas Home and Garden Show, and I'm going to be actually broadcasting tomorrow from 2 to 4, but I'm going to be out there all day. Why don't you come by and say hi and ask your questions?
Want more Texas Home Improvement? Listen to our radio show every Saturday and Sunday right here in DFW. You can call in and get your home improvement questions answered live. For a list of stations, and if you'd like to join our team, go to thipro.com.